Oh, hey, it's Peter from the Ferengies. Welcome to the second ever installment of our blog series, vlog series, whatever you want to call it. We're trying to put these out every week, trying to, I guess, engage with you guys on a different level than we have before. Last week's, you can go back and watch that. We'll link to it in the description, probably at the end of the video too. Last week was Andrew sharing with you some teaching tips that sounded really helpful. I'm not a teacher at the moment, but I mean, he is, and he's an effective one, and I've seen some of his students play, so check that video out if you haven't yet. But let's get to what we're talking about today. Today, I want to talk about Quarantunes. Yeah, we spent 30 straight days, the Ferengis did, uh, trying to put together, whilst all of us were individually isolating, trying to put together one song per day, every single day for 30 straight days. And we did it. we managed to do it. We thought we got close to skipping a day a couple times. We are like, I don't know, man. And it's like 6 in the evening. No one's got anything, but we did it. And I want to talk about a few of those that I especially was involved with, and kind of the process behind how I got to it, because it was a real different thing for me. But I'll get into that. So the very first song prompt that we had, I should get into what this was, by the way. This Quarantunes challenge was something that Andrew came across online, and it was a list of 30 prompts, just 1 or 2 word prompts to write a song about somehow. That was it. And apparently, he looked into it more after we had started going, and I guess it was geared more towards folk music, and maybe that's where it came from. So some of the prompts make a little bit more sense in that context, but we did what we could with them. And the first one was Christmas. Weird, but it was kind of interesting because around that time, you were seeing some viral posts go around where, oh, people are putting up Christmas lights, and turning them on at night to help lighten the mood, sort of thing for their communities. And so in that spirit, we threw together a Christmas song, and this came together real interestingly, this came together in a very interesting way, um, because I don't do much songwriting. I really do. I have a million abandoned, pseudo songs, or just like words. I write words sometimes, but I never get around to actually writing songs. I kind of had to. We all kind of had to put something in for this, and I somehow volunteered to do the Christmas song, and I wrote words, and I had a melody in my head, and I got there, and Andrew and I got together on it, and I just kind of sang him sort of kind of the melody, and he like right away almost found chords to it and just laid them down. We banged out the structure of it right there. I think we put it down the same day. So go check out the Christmas song. I'm kind of proud of it, honestly. It's thematic of the quarantine season. All of these songs that have lyrics to some extent thematically are going to reflect the time period that we're living in, and the Christmas one's no exception. On the third day, our prompt was Texas, and I had recently posted a photo from our Facebook and Instagram of loading up the truck, and I was thinking about the truck and how much use it's been for the Ferengis and for other groups in the past as well. It's serviced Cooper Wellington, the Whales, um, and when you start to romanticize trucks, you get real country all of a sudden. You just start to hear banjos, and I made a joke in the caption for that about writing a country song. And then this came around, and the prompt is Texas. I was like, come on, guys, guys. And so I ended up writing a country song about wanting to move to Texas. And again, I don't do a lot of writing, like I said a little bit ago. This was kind of a throw 'em in the deep end sort of thing, because I would just say, yeah, no, I'll take Texas. And we were trying to get a bunch together right at the top so we could have them and release them. And so we all kind of, like I said, had to put in our time. And I said, yeah, I'll do the Texas one. And suddenly now I'm in charge of writing the song. And I did. I put together what I felt like was a pretty standard uh, country type of song, very standard chord progressions, very standard everything. Threw a little twang on my voice. I am half Southern. My mom is from North Carolina. Uh, and shout outs, by the way, Cary, North Carolina. asked the guys for some banjo and some slide guitar on it, and you got what you got there, and it was so well received. People loved it, which was a weird feeling again for me because I'm not a primary songwriter for the band, and to write something that quickly, uh, and to put it out and be kind of proud of it, and then have other people be proud of it that way, it's a different feeling from just playing a good show. Day 4, the prompt was Irish, and I'm not going to talk too much about it because Jason's going to get into that song among a bunch of others. By the way, Jason's going to do his own Quarantunes retrospective video later on, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe and click that bell icon so you get notified when that does come out. But I do want to talk a little bit about Andrew basically said, here's a Dropkick Murphys-ish sounding type of riff and structure. What do you want to do with it? And I'm thinking Dropkick Murphys. I'm thinking Boston. Recently, Tom Brady had been released from or not released, had left the Patriots to go down to Tampa Bay. And at that point, I just went full, okay, this is just going to be a Dropkick Murphys song without, that band now. So in terms of, silly songs that show up on this list, that's one of my favorites that I was able to put together, and I'm very proud of my Dropkick Murphys vocal impression thing that I did. I don't know. It's silly. It's fun. I love it. Day 5, Old Fashioned. This was one of the ones where Andrew had that piano riff that you in that real old-timey sounding piano, and he had that for a while, and we just couldn't think of something to do with it. So I ended up, what it reminded me of was, those old-timey PSAs. Say, folks! And then we did that, and hey, go listen to that song, and really listen to it, though. Actually listen to it, please. Day 12, the prompt, cabin. So I went as basic as I could possibly go on this. I just wrote a song about a cabin. It was I was going for an indie folk, I guess, kind of vibe. But what Katie ended up telling me, I asked her, how does this sound when I played it for her? And she says, well, Katie being my wife, our manager, she says, well, it sounds about like anything that you ever played when you were leading worship for a church band. So, which I did for quite some time. So I was like, oh, okay, good. I guess that means I have my own voice. So cool. But I'm really proud of that one too. I put it in a bad key with a capo. So sorry, Andrew, who had to play banjo for that. But like I said, it's thematic. I'm very proud of what of what I was able to express lyrically in that. And that's true for a number of these songs, especially the next one I'm going to get into. Day 13, the subject was death. And when you're doing songs to fill time during, these difficult times, as you're apparently required to say, you don't want to necessarily make it a downer, but the prompt is death. So I'm like, okay, I guess I gotta think about it. And so I put a lot of thought into this one, which is kind of a rap track, very basic, very simple. Jason threw a really cool effect on my voice. I don't know if he's going to talk about that, but I wrote this song I called Petrified, and I want to make this maybe more of a real song too, because I was able to put a lot of my anxiety about mortality and about whether or not I'm wasting time with some of the things that I'm doing, and I was able to put those in the context of living during a pandemic, and getting that out there was helpful for me, I think, and I hope it may be helpful for some other folks. So if you're maybe experiencing anxiety about that, I don't know, check out that song, and at least there's someone to commiserate with you. It's me. And then 2 days after the song that was meant to be about death, the list of prompts then gave us sad. It's like, okay. But I think Andrew had this idea of kind of making a happy sounding song with sad lyrics, and I didn't want to go too sad. Even with what I tried to do with Petrified, the death one, I still felt like I couldn't give another downer song. So I decided to make it being sad about maybe something kind of silly, but still legitimate, and being able to, not being able rather, to get close enough to strangers to pet their dogs, because of social distancing. And, it's goofy again, but I loved it. I got to record my dog, Sparta. That's who you hear barking on the very end of that track. It's a very specific bark. That's not his real his actual bark. That is his performance bark. I made him speak, and he never barks that nice in any other context. It's always a lot more yelpy and terrible. But one little other thing, I went and named that song Furlong because furlong is a unit of distance, and has the word fur in it, and it's about dogs. A furlong, it breaks down if you think too much about it, because a furlong is like way uh, longer than 6 feet. But don't think too much about it. Ha! We'll talk for a second about day 23's prompt, which was mountains. And that one, I decided at the top of this challenge that I wanted one of the songs to be a metal song. And at that point, we'd already done Death, and Mountains was the only remaining prompt that sounded metal enough to warrant that sort of treatment. So, but oh man, this was another one where I pretty much just wrote the words out, kind of a structure in my mind, and then Jason went in and recorded kind of a demo of the instrumentals and said, kind of like this, and I was like, exactly like that. Are you kidding me? So it came together really well, and I'm super proud of it. That's another one that Jason's going to get into more in his video. So check that out when it drops. But check out the song too, because it's another one that we're just really proud of. And the last song I want to talk about from our Quarantunes challenge thing, it was day 28, very close, home stretch. The prompt was waves, and this is much like the Mountains song, the metal one. I knew I wanted one of these songs to be ska. I was thinking about making it for Happy, but I hadn't gotten together for the Happy prompt. And so we got to waves. And I don't know what the prompt was supposed to be getting at in terms of waves, like if it meant like ocean waves, but like we'd already done kind of a surf rock song with the major prompt from earlier. So I was kind of stuck for a minute until I honestly just kind of sat down and wrote that first line. I've been walking around this city. I'm like, what rhymes with city? Ooh, kitties. Ska is silly. You can be jokey in ska. So yeah, we'll put kitties in there. And it kind of started to come together thematically in my mind from there. I was like, oh, because I can get interaction from birds and cats, but not from humans. And I'm okay with that. Wave. That's really my process, is just start doing stuff and hopefully something happens. Actually, it's probably more of my life's philosophy now that I think about it. But yeah, that was essentially the songwriting process on that in terms of lyrics. And then again, this is very much, I'm realizing, I'm learning a lot about myself. That's kind of why I wanted to go into this. Musically, I'm learning about how I process things when I'm creating. I'm very much a verbal guy. I love, language. I love spoken word. I love communication that's verbal. And so I start with words, and I like wordplay and things like that. And so I'll build it backwards from there, and it doesn't always work as well, but it's a lot more helpful when you have people to kind of back you up and add stuff like that song Petrify. That piano bit is all Andrew. A lot of those other songs, the metal song, all the instrumentals are pretty much just Jason. But with this one, I was actually able to start from the words, work up a chord structure, again pretty basic, kind of direct how it was going to be, because I don't have the gear here to record anything except for the vocals is all I recorded on that, besides the drums as well. But I was able to send the stuff over to people who needed to play different parts, and they played them, and it came together again almost exactly the way I wanted it to. The horns, they're synthetic horns, from a computer, but the horn line sounds exactly like I wanted a ska sound to sound. It made me so happy, because throughout high school I always wanted to. Some of my friends even tried to get together and be in a ska band. It never really played out. But I never got the chance to make a ska song, and that's a lot of my bucket list items really have been on this challenge. So it's been a heck of a ride. Please go listen to them. You can buy them on Bandcamp. I think you can stream them. They're going to be up on the other platforms before long here. We had a heck of a time doing this. We had a lot of fun. Like I said, I learned a lot about myself and how I process music and how I create more effectively. And I think the other guys did too. And they'll get into it in their own videos, I think. I don't know if all of them will. Jason definitely, like I said, tune in for that. Otherwise, that's it for episode 2, for installment 2, for video number 2 in our brand new, as of yet unnamed, Ferengi's vlog series with a V. But hey, let us know what else you might want to hear us talk about in this. This is very much a free-form thing. Like said last week it was Andrew and teaching tips. Today it's me talking about much less important things. But if there's anything specific you want to hear about, anything you want us to talk about, any little challenges you might want to see, doesn't have to just be this vlog thing. We got a whole YouTube channel. We're doing stuff with it. Like I said, subscribe down there. I'm going to link out to a couple of things probably in the description. One of them being, I want to plug this really hard. Trevor, our guitarist, Trevor Fisher, has released a lyric video, a homemade lyric video to his song So Alone that is a jam. It's very, very good. If you haven't heard Trevor's solo song, So Alone, it's his solo song, So Alone, you can stream it online, but also check out the video and share it if you like it, for sure. We'll link that in the description. Go down there for all the other fun stuff. But join us right here in whatever platform you're watching it next week. Weekly thing. Get ready. I'm Peter from the Ferengies. Tell us if you want us to eat more weird things, because I'm always down for those kinds of videos. Stay safe, please stay healthy. Support local bands. Buy a shirt, buy a CD. Support local, just anybody. Performers, yeah, businesses. Do what you can for each other during this time. That's what we're here for. All we got is each other. All right? So, I really hope to see you guys soon. Bye.